Greetings, mortals, and welcome back to the Banner Saga. When last we left off, we had just fought off a few enemies. So, fighters notice your victory and scramble to help throw supplies back on the wagons. You gather what you can and get the ox moving. Soon you've got distance between you and the dredge. Survivors gather as you flee, fewer than you'd hoped. You see Oddwife as she emerges from a row of trees, struggling to bear the body to her chieftain in her arms. Her face is blank. Helping her to the caravan, you cover the body with a cloth. The chieftain's death hits you like a punch to the gut. Only at Ivor's insistence does the caravan get moving again to Frostfiller. While its hand clasps tightly around your own and you walk together in silence. There's 7 days of food left, which is a lot better than 0. Pausing to catch your breath, you glance backward to see the caravan stretched out past the point of safety. They're spaced out so far you're unable to see those bringing up the rear. "We've got to pull them together," says Ivorstone. It'd be dangerous to stop until at least the Godstone. The path should be just ahead. We might as well. This should help morale as well as consuming time. So let's do this. You make your way to the rear and hoist a small child on your shoulders. Fight for every step. Remember those who didn't make it and push onwards. Seems like the best we can do. So let's take a look here. Far enough for today, I think. After a day of misery, men and women drop their meager possessions beneath the Godstone of Hrinvaldia. What are we doing? We just left our homes because suddenly there were dredge. Probably shouldn't be looking to me for advice. Look at these people. Somebody has to hold them together. That's you, Rook. Someone who's killed Dredge before is not... We've all killed Dredge before at this point. So, that's a moot point. So I don't really want to do this. I guess I'll go with 1. Lie? Tell them everything's going to be alright? Gods, Rook, I don't know. Pretend you know what you're doing. That's what the rest of us do. Thanks for the advice. It's actually really good advice. Then do whatever you want. Let them fend for themselves if you can live with it. You humans are absurd, Rook. Furious when you're not in control, terrified when you are. Pull it together. Alright. He's right, so let's do this. Think of how I feel. I'm stuck nursing a bunch of weaklings. You do care, I can tell. Men are a plague on the world, worse than any dredge as far as I can tell. Chats like this are why we get along so well, Ivor. You sleep poorly, the sun forever stuck to an eternally bright sky. Before the others rise to find yourself staring over long, low hills covered in pine. The Godstone looms overhead, the massive eyes of Valdir looking the same direction as you. Might as well inspect it. The weathered stone doesn't see many visitors, not much reason to travel so far east. When hunters come through, they sometimes stop to give offerings, out of habit more than anything else, now that the gods are dead. Hrinvaldir was a god of hunters and wild beasts, occasionally seen roaming the land as both man and wolf. He was always depicted in effigy with his terrible spear. You wonder what he'd think about his woods being full of dredge now. A young girl from the caravan approaches you. "I made this for you," she says, handing you a crude necklace carved from a branch you must have found nearby. "Thank you for saving my mama," she says before running back to her tent. Back at your tent, you rouse Alette, who clings to your arm until she's completely awake. Bad dreams. Eventually the camp is broken down and it's time to move on to Frostfiller. It's like an end more than a start. Okay. there was a camp button so I could actually check my stuff. Okay, I want... So we have 2 injured people. The caravan halts when a group of men appear on the trail, weapons at their feet. We've seen the dredge in your wake, says one. We don't wish to meet them alone. If you let us join you, we'll show you a watering hole with enough animals to fill those supply wagons. An inherent fear of strangers raises mutters from the caravan. I'm going to ask what they're doing out here alone. I would guarantee that these guys are bandits. So if they admit that they're bandits, then I would allow them to join me. If they don't, I'm not sure if I will. Let's see. We were hunting here for food when the dredge found our village. When we returned... Okay, so maybe I was wrong. Okay, well, I don't... The odds of these guys being a problem seem pretty low to me in this kind of, considering the circumstances. So let's allow them to join us for now. If you'll be no trouble, come along, you say. But then cautiously join your ranks and prove trustworthy. The hidden watering hole nearby is teeming with animals, and soon your supplies are nicely restocked. So we're gonna go here. I want to check some stuff. We can rest, if we so please. I'll check my heroes. So he's injured for 3 days. Rook is no longer injured for whatever reason. I don't think it's been 2 days. We'll promote this guy. And I kind of like the idea of allowing him to break armor like nobody's business. But at the same time, I'm mostly using him. He gets most of his utility in blocking enemies from reaching people, so I'm going to increase his armor. The higher his armor, the better. And with 16 armor, those dredge that have 16 attack power can only hit him for 1 damage until his armor's been broken a bit. So, this will be good. What is this? Ooh, 15% charge strength attacks. This is great. That's going to be perfect for my tank guy. Can I... Oh, actually, other people can promote now, right? Who wasn't the... Oh, whoops, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to do heroes, because I think of that screen as the training screen. This is where I promote my heroes. So she can be promoted. So this improves her ability. So what does this do? So for every 2 points of armor the target has lost, there's 1 additional strength. So it does normal strength damage in addition to bonus armor and puncture damage. So it does 2 armor damage, which is pretty nice. Rank 3 is really amazing because if you could line up a group of dredge, then you could actually hit them all for 3 armor damage, which will then AoE all of the others for armor damage. So you can do a cascading like 4 armor as well as the strength. So, what should she have? This is how much morale she can use, I believe. Correct? Yeah, that's how much morale she can use in a given turn. I think I'd rather have her strength raised than her armor for now, because I'm actually doing a reasonable job of protecting her from the enemies. Okay, so I can unequip things. And we have 10 days of supplies. I'm gonna leave for now. During a rest, one of the men gets too drunk and ends up splashing meat in a warrior's face. A brawl erupts. Many thrown fists and broken bone later, the instigator is tossed to the ground at your feet, angry clansmen looking for satisfaction. His personal defense is little more than drooling. Let's see. Let's see. I mean, a brawl erupting is not exactly his fault, but I mean, let's coerce a public apology out of him, but it's everyone's responsibility, not just him. During rest, Nick, you force him to look to the ground. Apologize for this messy demand. Man babbles until you squeeze harder. Sorry, he yells repeatedly even after you let him go. Folks shakes their heads but leave the man alone. Okay, we need to rest. Because poor morale is an issue. I was actually thinking about resting before. I hope that I have enough days of supplies to get where we're going. I don't really, with only 8 days of supplies, I'm very concerned. Caravan is visibly relieved to find a small village on the way to Frostfeller with beds and fresh supplies. The locals here are shocked by the news you bring and discuss it amongst themselves while you set up nearby. Oh boy. And the dredger presumably following us. Let's take a look at the map. How far are we from where we're going? Can I see how far away it is? Is each one of these dots a day's travel, maybe? No, because we're not that. We just left from Saga here, and we're not quite halfway there. And it's only been a couple of days. So, let's go to the market. So, heavy when soaked in boiled sweat, but a little bit of padding can be the difference between life and death. Ooh, mariners of old would use stones to find the location of the sun when there was none. Not many. Interesting. This is a pretty powerful thing. Except attacks never deflected isn't that useful, to be honest. So rare crystal and sharp creates a pleasing sound. Often strung on weapons with +2 will per kill. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get the maximum number of supplies first. So I now have 21 left. We have a sunstone here. There might be enemies that have the ability to deflect attacks without having higher armor. So I'm kind of tempted to get this, but I really, for right now, and again, I'm not going to have a choice to pick this up later if I do it. So if I don't get this now, I'm never going to get a chance to. Is this worthwhile to get? Because this is a unique effect, as far as I can tell. +2 will per kill is pretty good. I think I'm going to get that. I can get that and the padded out undercoat, so let's do it. I think that those two together is probably better than just one of them. So he's still injured for another day or so. We can give him one of these items. We'll give him this padded undercoat, I think. because he doesn't have to worry about dodging strength attacks. He doesn't actually get attacked on strength. He's a good character for this, actually. Actually, it's better for this. So we'll just give her this item for now. He's injured for one more day. So we can actually rest. We'll go ahead and do that. So we only have normal morale. I thought that resting would improve it to higher, but that was not the case. I have 13 days of supplies, which is nice, and we can go ahead and leave. You're only just outside the village when two men in red approach. My name is Hogan, says one, gesturing to the other. My brother is Mogun. Many from the village wish to join you to Frostfeller. A third man, exuding rage, charges up to the group. Shut your mouth, Hogan, he screams. What's going on? These bastards don't speak for us. They've been trying to divide the village since you got here. True, you can keep whoever wants to stay and die. The rest of us will go with the reasonable people of Skogur. I'll have you both gutted before I let half the village desert. You mean desert? Not soldiers. Behind the angry villager, a mob of armed thugs has appeared, all furrowed brows and nervous stares. You both know what will happen to the rest of us if the fields are abandoned. Nobody leaves. Now, this is actually a legitimately difficult situation, but the Dredge were coming with us. And this is a border province, so apparently. So I do think that we should actually suggest that they come with us, at the very least temporarily. Because the basic issue is that if all of the people abandon their farms in the entire country, starvation is going to be a very serious issue. But this is more of a localized issue, so I think I'm going to go with number 1. Dredge my ass. I don't know what the scam is this time, Hogan, but you got 2 choices. Get back to work or I'm finally putting you in the ground. Hogan, what do you say? Thought it was unfair that he only asked me. Hogan draws his axe slowly, followed by Hogan. Despite their confidence, the brothers are significantly outnumbered. I think I make a poor farmer. They're not defending their home, they're attacking people they don't like because they want to leave. I'm gonna go with number 3, because this might actually result in the villagers backing down. Ivor steps forward, the thugs hesitate. As you pull your axe, you notice that Aled is nowhere to be seen. That's interesting. So we can add Hogan and Mogan to our roster. He's the Thrasher. And from now on, I'll be able to adjust who is actually coming to each fight. That's pretty cool. Probably shouldn't have had them go last, huh? So adds more armor to himself and allies when adjacent to them. Very cool. So these guys have archers. I think I'm best off avoiding the archers. There's no real reason to fight the archers. Actually, that's not the case. I'm better off charging the archers because they won't be able to move very much in the beginning. Backbiter. Run through 2 spaces, 2 break on each unit on the way. Plus normal strength damage. Target. Four attacks. Yeah, 1 strength or armor each. That's plus 1 for each and takes them out. So you can hit for 4 strength damage with this guy, that's pretty cool. Actually, I think that... No, that's not the leader, never mind. I was gonna say, this guy looks unique, so I was gonna think he was the leader, but... That's not right. There's really no reason to put her there, actually. You know what, this is a mistake moving them in range for him. Ah, that's this guy. Okay, well, I didn't put her back far enough. Mistakes were made. Actually gonna move her here. Still deflected. Very nice. Okay, so we'll hit... Whoa, no. We could have killed him outright, but I don't really want to. I want to keep them alive. He can go ahead and attack her for 5. So we'll hit him for 3. Ooh, he hits for 3 armor damage. This is someone that we need to take out. We'll take him out later though. move him here. There we go. So 1 armor damage is basically nothing. We can go ahead and finish this guy off. Maybe. I think we can. Nope. Close but no cigar. This guy's next, right? Yes. So we need to spend some morale here. Do 4 strength damage. Ow. Very ow. Holy crap, that hurts. So this guy's going soon. This guy's going next. Shoes. So I need to kill the archer just so that we eliminate the possibility of a ranged attack. So that's that guy. He has enough morale that he is going to reach her and kill her. That's very unfortunate. On the plus side, I can at least drop his thing to 0. Holy crap, she just dodged! She just dodged the attack. She can survive. He can't reach. He's next, followed by him. So if we kill him, oh my god. She's not gonna die. Holy shit. He might. He will. Shit. I'm dumb. How much armor do you have, my friend? That won't help me any. That's unfortunate. Life is hard. goes. I'm gonna have a lot of people go down here, actually. Holy crap. Two down. It's amazing how much of a tactical advantage it is. I might actually... No, I'm not going to lose this because he's still at full strength. But the tactical advantage that you get from just... being, at full strength. I'm gonna have him right here. I'm dumb. I thought he had 0. That's a problem. Okay, so he can basically just take them down. That's a problem. So, I'm not sure. So, Mogun is ready for promotion. I'm hoping that none of them is... Okay, so nobody's permanently dead. So the brothers thank you with wide grins. Soon many of the villagers have joined your caravan. You scan around anxiously for Alette, who's gone missing when the fighting began. Eventually you find her watching from afar. Hogan returns at that moment, introducing you to his son and wife, and you soon set out again. Alette marches quietly alongside the caravan, a little distant once since leaving the village. When you stop for a rest, Oddlife approaches you both. Alette, I have something for you. Oddlife has gathered up the long banner from the caravan and smiles warmly as she passes it to Alette. What's this about? I was hoping you'd sew up the banner with everything that has happened since we left Skogar. Come find me another time, Rook, and we'll talk. Before you can comment, she departs. Dad, are you the chieftain now? I'm gonna go that it looks that way, at least not for now. Oh, then that means we're both quiet for a moment while Alette unfurls the banner. Oddleaf has been teaching me how to sew. She speaks pretty highly of you. Can we read the part about Mom? You nod. On the banner has been sewn the story of families who have lived in Skogar throughout the years, just as is done on every banner in every town. I wish she was here, but I'm kind of glad she isn't. The section of banner about your family is short, but Alette has been sewing in colorful designs. Why do you say that? So she doesn't have to deal with all this. Dredge, leaving home, and... Why did you have to kill those men in the village? I mean, if it's okay to ask. I'm gonna go with number 1, because they were the aggressors. They were the ones who were... I'm gonna go with number 1. And the hope is this guy makes the distinction of they were going to attack people, and I was defending the people that they were attacking. But how do you know which ones are bad? Because the dredge are terrifying. Every time we have to fight them, I just want to run, but I don't want to kill a person, please. Are you mad at me? I'll go with I'm glad you don't want to, because that's good. She might have to someday, but today is not that day, and that day was not that day. You know what I mean? Like, she's a kid. So, let's smile at this, then her face sinks again. I guess I would do it if I really had to, but do we have to? I know what you mean. Yeah, I know, Dad. I think you're doing a good job. She hugs you. You spend the rest of your time together, sewing new verses into the banner. For better or for worse, the story of your Skoger is your burden now. So I can talk to her. How are you doing, Odd? I'm alright. Feeling a bit odd. Not at first. Sometimes when a loved one dies, people say it doesn't sink in for a while. It sunk in for me right away. People tell me I'm a strong woman. It's funny, my father named me Oddleaf before I was even born. He wanted a boy so badly. Strong woman. What does that even mean? I think I'm actually going to go with I never cared for that expression. If I feel nothing about my husband dying, people think I'm strong. If I cry because my insides feel like they're on fire, I'm weak. Why does that feel so backwards? I'm sorry, Rook, it's been hard. You're not sure what to say. In the many years you've known the chieftain's wife, this is probably the most you've ever talked. You asked me to come find you? Yes, it's about the banner. I thought about it for a long time. He asked me to give it to you, you know, if something happened. Um... I'm gonna go with why me. I'm tempted to ask what she would have done with it, but let's go with why me. He always depended on you, Rook. It should be mine. I could carry, but I thought about why he named you. I get it. They won't follow a woman. Families would leave. Our banner would be divided. I'm gonna go with number 2 because I mean she has experience with leadership at the very least. Come on, Rook. This isn't the time for pretend. It's not just about our small town. What happens the first time we need something from another clan? How will that go? The first time someone thinks they can take advantage of us? I think this is what has to happen. I'm gonna go with number 3 because, I mean, she's the one who actually knows what the heck she's doing. I'll be here when I can, just don't expect any miracles. Listen, I know I dragged this out. The truth is, my husband and I could never have a child. I don't want our banner to end here. It'll be safe with you in the what. I know you're going to take care of her. She puts a hand on your shoulder as she heads back to camp. Now, after that statement, that might be even a threatening gesture of, you are going to take care of her. I like that. Hey, +5 renown. Let's go to the Heroes tab. So these guys are injured. He'll be injured for 1 day. Go ahead and promote him. So we can increase his strength by 2 more, or we could increase his armor. I think I'd rather increase his armor. Because he's either going to be using this attack, or he's going to be using his morale attack. So as for her, she can't promote yet. He can. So we'll max out his defense, and then start working on Ooh, we can keep working on his armor piercing. I like that. So we can promote this guy. That's for him. I don't see much reason to get this, actually. And I think I'm actually going to buff up his defense first. Oh yeah, so we're going to pop back. We'll put her in my active party. Go back out. So my morale is actually good right now. So since I have good morale, I think that I'm going to just continue on. At a small split in the trail, a few fighters stop to speak with you, each carrying a single pack. We recognize this place, one man says. We spent several years here with some kin. If they're still around, we have to warn them of what's coming. We'll find you again in less than a week. I'm going to send them with some extra supplies. We have the supplies right now. We can do it. If that's all you're taking, you may never make it. Grabbing a few items from the supply wagon, you strap the additional provisions on the back. Search for family instead of food. Then clasp wrist with you before departing. Because that's a very small amount of resources. So complaints of Raffen Svarder's excessive drinking have resurfaced. This time the man stumbled over some tent ropes, pulled the snagged canvas through a campfire, nearly setting the supply lab in a van. Okay, this man drinks nothing but water from now on. This drunk is going to be a problem for me. And he needs to be near the wagon. He needs to be kept under control. I'd like to be able to set someone to be in charge. So Raffensvarder groggily agrees, slurring his way through promises to quit being such a nuisance. Many of the onlookers snort or roll their eyes, but go back to their business. Somehow you doubt it'll be long before he finds another drink, whether you'll allow it or not. Yeah. The thing is that I don't know. Punishing him physically isn't going to cause any problems. Or sorry. Okay, so Dredge shouts a man at the back of the caravan. It's Raffensvarder, the unabashed drunk, staggering toward you, looking not entirely sober. He screams again, pointing at the trees in the distance. Fear races through the caravan as fighters pull their weapons. Scouts return with no sightings, and furious men surround He's out. I'm sorry, this guy's a problem. Man's meager belongings and food are thrown in a pile and everyone moves on. Tied loosely to a tree. You expect he'll break his bonds eventually once he sobers up. Please, I swear. Whether his dredge were imagined or not, you don't expect to see him again. It's for the best to just get rid of that guy. He's not going to be...
Once a strong, thriving city, the walls of Frostweather now just
we're that close.
keep the howling winds at bay. With luck, they'll hold out against Dredge as well.
I didn't realize that we were that close to the city. If we were, with us being that close to the city, I would have actually not done that, but it's fine. We're better off without him. He's putting the entire caravan at risk. So you jostle through fallow crowds and sunken faces who appear as though they've been freezing in front of Frostfeller for days. The gates are closed. You come to a stop at the bottom of the hill. This is not looking good. Why are there so many people in the fields? We can't stay outside in the open like this. Oddly finds you amongst the many refugees. Rourke just talked to some of the women here. Nobody's being let into the city. Why? It's overrun with Varl from Blotzbalker, Greyhorn, people from Beetra, all the nearby villages. The Dredge are everywhere. Oh, great. And the chieftain of Frostfeller has locked himself in his great hall. That's when they close the gates. When the Dredge come, these hills will turn red. We have to get in there. So, we need to figure out what's going on here before we make any decisions. I see a lot of people gathered around the rest houses and gates. We could find out what they know. How do we get in anyway? They closed the gate. I can get that gate open. Let's see if there's any other way before we start breaking down gates. I wasn't going to break it, just push really hard. I wasn't going to break it, I was just going to push on it. So we can do stuff with our heroes. Let's take a look here. How are our injuries looking? So these guys are injured for one more day. Give me 1 second to figure out how much time we have. 46 minutes. We can go to the market. Interesting. So I have 15 renown. Plus 3 armor on rest. Plus 2 drawing aggro and plus 1 strength. This is amazing. This is plus 2 armor break. I really wish that I had this. This plus 3 armor on rest isn't as good as plus 2 armor break actually. 2 armor break is a huge amount. I mean, 2 armor break means that you'll be able to... That's actually really crazy. So I'm taking that. We'll get as much food as we can get. It's always best to have as many supplies as necessary, or rather as possible. So who's gonna get the armor bonus? I'm actually gonna give that to him, I think. With this, he will have 5 armor break. So I can actually attack the enemy with him, break 5 of their armor, then he'll go next. I can hit the same enemy with his attack that makes all allies attack. So that'll be 6 armored reduction, plus a full attack from a 12 strength guy, plus whatever archers are there. That should be really good for me. So... let's figure out how I use the gate, I guess. You approach the gate where hundreds of people have gathered and trodden in bloody space in front of the doors. Several pincushion bodies lie unclaimed as though they simply belong there. Archers on the wall make it clear that nobody will be getting in. Men and women below intermittently call for mercy and reason. They're not clinging stones and curses. So let's find out more from the crowd. You spend an hour talking to different people who all have the same story. A couple of days ago, the chieftain shut himself in, closed the gates, and refused any more refugees. We've got huge stores of supplies in there too, adds one man. They're just hoarding them. Okay, so let's leave the gates for now and try something else. We leave the crowds and head back down the hill. There are lots of people gathered around the rest houses. Okay, so we can go to the rest houses. Ah, I see. You spend the whole day at the rest houses. Everyone gives you the same story that you set himself in the great hall and closed the gates. There are a lot of wounded people here at Zalet. We could help them. The rest houses are overflowing with refugees, the sick and wounded and noise. Okay, so we'll tend to the wounded. Let an odd leaf spend the day along with many others from your caravan trading routes, most of whom came from the archers at the gates. I overheard from one woman that the city has been sending carts with food around. Could be a way in. Next time they send a cart, we bring it back in. Oddly for tests, aside from leading to a fight, it would probably mean no more food for the refugees. I think that we should leave the food cart alone. This could be a way in, but it's not a good way in. It could go wrong, and if it does go wrong, then it's going to be very bad. So let's just leave the food cart alone. I don't want to get involved if others are going to suffer for it. Okay, I still think we should be getting in that city. So do we lose supplies for days spent here? Charging the gate is a terrible idea. Let's see what happens. After a long day of argument, you're all finally agreed to digging in with the other refugees if you have to. You sure there's no other option? Sooner or later the dredge will come, probably sooner. If we start fighting amongst ourselves, then that's going to be worse. As long as the refugees are getting supplies, that's okay. As long as they're not preventing us from getting supplies, we're best off doing this. So it looks like those guys are going to be outside the city. Echo, we're back. I was able to get as many warriors from Strand as you wanted and more weapons. Extra supplies, too. You perk up now, realizing that Mogre has been talking to you. Since Bognir died, everyone has been looking for you to make decisions. It's exhausting. Echo? Okay, sorry, just tired. We'll go on. I was saying the Varl we since his Strand has returned. The governor gave us most of what we wanted. Good enough. Much resistance from the governor. Some. I don't think he was happy about us buying his fighters using his own money. He also insisted we take on a lackey of his to watch over his property. A man named Eric. Eric? I met him. He seems competent enough. Regardless, the governor will have to get over it unless he wants the dredge crawling through his streets. I've put down every slag that has wandered through here while you were gone. Enough flapping of mouths, then. You're sure that wound is healed, then? I agree. Enough has gone wrong. Enough has already gone wrong. If something happens to the prince on a mission of peace, the alliance would rot. Or worse. I mean, they're honestly absolutely correct. I mean, having him here is more dangerous to the peace and stability of both realms than anything. So, but this is a bad way to do it. He's like some teenager. You don't just tell him to do this. I'm gonna go with number 3. What do you expect me to do? Go back to my father and tell him one world died so the alliance is over? He has a point. As Wagnir's Kender, we have the same responsibilities, so Cohen would only be made to do this again later, and I will not suffer it all the second time. Either take us through the wandering road or do your job and slaughter some trash. Ludin turns abruptly to the galley, stamps back to the ring of tents and followers. Wandering road's not an option with this many. I would crush that boy's skull with one hand. If Ludin won't be deterred, you'll have to deal with it. Don't let Ludin get to you. Let's go. I'm sick of looking at this dump. What do I tell the warriors, Hakon? There's no reason to try and retake a city. Let's go with no more losses. Give the word and we'll set off. I don't know that the dredge even stay dead, right? There's some sort of monsters. So let's talk to this guy. You knew him well, didn't you? Vognir? No. Well, I don't know. I remember him. Always rushing around with some important business, but I never knew him. Never got a chance to talk much. Longer than I did, in any case. I suppose so. When he left, Varl listened. When he spoke, Varl listened. I knew that. I could use help there. Scrivener leans back, considering the sentiment. I've seen worse. They respect you for your ability to swing an axe. They need to respect you for your actions. But you're not talking to the right Varl. Moger's got some skill there. Most I can do is hold a quill. This guy's like a scrivener. Some sort of historian dude. So I've been he's the best person to ask about this. Gods, how should I know? Never seen anything like this before. Are you worried? Some of the Varl in the caravan think the world's coming to an end. Others think that's the best thing that could happen. No more black months. I'll take it. If it's the end, I'm ready. What about the rest of us? To the depths with you. Ha! Love it. I love it. How do you mean? What do I write? I write what happens. They've got a banner in Arbor rank for that, you know. You mean the long banner? Yes, the Menders wove up something that writes its own history. You want my opinion? I don't trust it. No? It tells a broad story. I think there's value in the narrow. Whose story does it write? Mine? Theirs? Ludin's? Gods forbid. Ha, you relic. The gods have been dead a long time. Oh, have they? Old habits, I suppose. Rule number 1. Regular terror. Do you know how old I am? Dare I ask? I'm competing, you know. Nobody knows how old we Varl can get, naturally. There's one by the name of Snorri. He's got a few years on me, just hunkers in Grafheim collecting rhyme. Bastard might actually beat me. Another one named Krimmer is close, I think, but the addled son of a bitch still welcomes a fight. He'll probably be off before I am. Although, the scrivener gestures around him as if to remind you of the current situation. Anyway, point is, what difference does it make? I'm just a delivery baron for Jorinder now. Can't remember half of what I've done. Hence the journal? Hence? Don't get fancy on my behalf, Hakon. Okay, I won't. There's always more marching to do. I've goofed more hills than a horse born with a crutch. Don't worry about me. Hoofed, not goofed. Okay, so we're going to talk to our other party member, and I'd ask how you're dealing with Vognir's death, but I already know the answer. Do you? Stadiodal Moger, which is good. I know most of these Varl, but they're not under my command. They came to follow Vognir. Tell you the truth, I wouldn't want to be in your position either. Let's see. We can go in the one, I guess. Throw together this many Varl, half of them want to hit each other, the rest want to be left alone. Anyone I should keep an eye on? There's a couple of clan leaders trying to show off for each other. Not a big deal, I've got it under control. The fighters we just got from Strand aren't bad, but they're unruly. Give it a few days. And there are a few moaning about fighting for you instead of Vognir. Those are the ones to worry about. What about Ludin's men? They don't want to hear anything from me, I know that. Any problems? Could be. Ludin's pet Varl is named Bercy. I'm not sure where he comes from or what his deal is. Bastard knows how to fight, but there's something I don't like about him. His girl in red is scary too, Yrsa. She's probably the best fighter Ludin's got, to be honest. I've overheard some of the Varl call her the Witch. Why? The flaming arrows, I think. It's a good trick, but the fire upsets our Varl more than the dredge. Still doesn't make much sense. Witch? They're not scholars, Hakon. I think they're mostly just afraid of her. That makes more sense. Don't let her find out. So, I guess I'm gonna ask him if he's wanted to be in command. More than I am? Any more rope and I'd hang myself. I doubt that. I forget, you weren't around back then. At one point I had more rope. I hung myself. So no, I'm not interested in command. It's all yours. Thanks. I think that was a sarcastic thanks. So, I'm gonna go with number 1. Death Trap. This many Varl? No, we should be alright. Things could get rough, though. I don't like being the one to send Varl to their deaths. I like worrying about myself, and that's the extent of it. Who would have expected Wagner to drop like that in a couple of slag? I'm still wondering what happened. He had hundreds of dead slag to his name. I don't get it. It just happens sometimes. No big moment. I'm sure it surprised him even more than us. Although I have to wonder. Nah, never mind. Anyway, I'll worry about the warriors. You worry about not doing something stupid. That's asking a lot. Gonna go with number 1. I'd rather not say Hakon. Why? It's the kind of thing that gets stuck in your head and you need a clear one. It's better if you let me worry about it. So at this point the question becomes, do we trust him to deal with the situation on his own? And I'd say yes. So I think that I trust Mogir more than I trust Hakon, so I'm gonna go with it. Just say so. There's a reason. If there's a reason to bring it up again, I will. Let's get back to it. Let me know if you need anything else. I will. Alright, so we have the ability to manipulate our heroes. Let's find out who we have access to. We have access to Eirik. The cone has not killed anyone. This guy is ridiculous. Holy crap. So should I do this? Does it cost 15 now? Oops. I'm not sure if I want to or not. Oh yeah, we still have this to put up. Yeah, let's do it. There we go. Now, I'm not going to be wanting to level them up infinitely. There will come a point where I want to rest off for certain heroes. But we are looking at 1 hour and 3 minutes. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you everyone for watching. It's been a pleasure to record for you guys today. I'll see you again next time.